I made a few slides in talking about more from the perspective of the whole course, say and the department that I worked for. So I've got 4 examples that I'll try to hit very shortly. As I was I built up a few courses within Avans University, and I also worked within one of the departments in the management, and from those kind of jobs, I have all kinds of experiences in working how to deal with industry. To start with the last remark, the ambition of Avans is to co-create. Well, that's something, I think that's a word that we use quite a lot nowadays. And I think, Eva, looking at your presentation, there is, of course, a cultural difference. And I must say, and I think we can help each other in that sense, we are quite, with us, it's quite normal to co-create with industry from the point of view from the university. And that is really a cultural difference. And I've got some examples from different studies. Mechatronics is a study that I set up within the university. International maintenance management. I'm at the moment also the project leader for a master. So the master material and energy transition, that's where I'm trying to set it up with a team. And the engineering department. First of all, the mechatronics study. A few years ago, it was a demand from industry, and I think that's the most important one in my story for the first 2 courses. As well maintenance as mechatronics were both courses where the industry asked us, please start a study for this, because we need professionals from applied science universities, bachelors, who know what this is about, and who know from mechatronics point of view to combine electrotechnical information with mechanical engineering, with informatics, technical informatics it was. So the 3 studies combined, that's what they needed, the overarching information. I did this for 4 universities of applied sciences in the Netherlands, so it was a real big project, but it was also together with 2 federations, and these federations really were involved in the project. They got all these people together. And at the end, and that's the most important one from this slide, we had a meeting for half a day, where we brought the stakeholders of all of the Netherlands together for these 4 universities of applied sciences. They came all together in one place. I think it was about 50 or 60 people, talking about what should be in this study. And we talked about the profile, what should be the graduate profile. We talked about the knowledge, the skills needed, and they gave us all kinds of inputs. They also told us which kind of job vacancies do they see, because that's also very important in my point of view. If you know which jobs there will be offered for our graduates, then again we can look back and see what actually should be in the study. So that information works. And of course we talked with them about how to be integrated, how they could work with us, guest lectures, all kinds of projects that they could provide. So that information is also very important. But at the first, to really get this all done, we wanted to know, what are these people going to do? And that's what industry should tell us. The same kind of thing happened with international maintenance management, but this was even bigger, because this also was a demand from industry, but it was one of the priorities of the region. I don't know about your regions, but there's now the joint, the Just Transition Fund is in many regions in Europe very important. And this Just Transition Fund is based on the fact that there is some economic development needed within these different regions. The west of Brabant, my province, is one of these regions. And that's also for this part. Maintenance, bio-based and logistics are the 3, and were especially, but still are, the 3 main priorities for our region. So that means that industry wants us to create studies in this line. And that's why we made up a big consortium in a triple helix construction, as it's called in that way, where we as university were in charge for the human capital agenda. It sounds a bit economic, and there's the human capital, But still, it is all about how to educate the right professionals, how to give them the right competences, and that's where we, as institutes, knowledge institutes, are responsible for this education. On the other hand, I always tell people from industry, it's not only the job from knowledge institutes, it's also how do you say, the responsibility for people from industry to talk with us and to tell us what we should do. It can't be so that it's only the job from for knowledge institutes. So that's why we have this triple helix construction. The third partner is, of course, the governments. They gave us quite a lot of money to do this. So in that sense, it was a good cooperation. And we made courses on vet level, on bachelor level, on master level. So we made courses on all the levels because it's all needed. The third example that I wanted to introduce is the master that I'm building up at the moment with a team. Grade demand 4, that's a bit 1 too much. Innovative, highly educated professionals. So the highly educated professionals, I mean, in this field for energy and material transition, there are of course a lot of operators, there's a lot of people, professionals already working, but there wasn't a master course really oriented on the practical field within our region. And that's where the industry again said, please start such a master study. It's also in line with the centers of expertise at Avans. I'm working at one of these centers of expertise nowadays, and the themes of these centers are also in line with these needs of the industry. And so for every center of expertise, we are creating a master education at the moment, one master course, which is again, as I say, in line with what industry needs, and that's really important. So we talk again with a lot of people. A broad stakeholder group is what we call it now in this project, to reflect on our ideas. Which skills are needed, which knowledge is needed, which job descriptions again. So which vacancies do you see in the near future? We want to know what it is. At this moment we are really creating the program. So it's like we made up development teams just now who are really creating the different periods. And we would like to start the 1st of September 2024. But before this, there's also going to be a visit by the Dutch accreditation committee, and there again the company people will be present as well, and they will also talk to this committee to say what they expect and whether our plans are in line with what they would like to see. So there's always this connection between us as educators and the company representatives. And what's also important, it's not only that they have to tell us what our graduates will be doing immediately after our studies, but it's also after 5 years, because you also want them to have a look already a little bit further away, not only, well, what should I do immediately, which jobs, project leaders, whatever. No, in 5 years' time, they will be growing again, and we also want to know what they do by then. The last example I've got here is, and then again, Tuija, yes. Advisory boards, you mentioned them as well. I think they're quite common these days within the Netherlands, within Finland, and the countries. So we talk with the work field quite a lot to hear from them what they think in general. But then again, I thought, having this job, I want to know more. I want them to be involved in the studies themselves. I want them to be involved in the minors that we present. So that they really are responsible for the quality of the education, also for their part. Of course, as a university, we are responsible for our courses, but why don't we give part of the responsibility to the people from companies? So I asked for every minor that we present, and the minor, of course, is something that's really towards undergraduate level. So it's, well, they have to talk about the issues that are important in the jobs. And every minor had a small advisory board. Not a group of 12 or 15 people, no, a group of 3 or 4 people from companies that had to say, yes, the contents of this minor is really important for their future jobs, for the future work. If the coordinator of the minor couldn't get these signatures from company representatives, then the minor wouldn't run. Simple. Because in some way, this minor is not in line with what's needed in companies, so the minor is not going to be presented to students. That worked quite well, because people from companies were eager to join here, because they also, of course, got a chance to be involved in running the program. They could be in direct interaction with the students, and that gave them the chance, of course, to sell their company already a little bit to their future, possible future employees. So that's the fourth one I wanted to show you, how we as Avans, in some ways, are really interacting all the time on course level with people from companies. And I think that's important. That was mine.